Welcome to the Grow Your Business for Good show. This is a place where coaches and consultants gather so you can learn how to lead a world-class business that does not tax your time, your energy, or your financial resources. We are your hosts, M. Shannon Hernandez
and Amy Hager of the Joyful Business Revolution. And our number one goal is to bring you clarity and insight on how to grow your business for good. Hello, wherever you are in the world today. Thank you for joining me. I'm Amy Hager, co-founder of the Content Personality Club over here at the Joyful Business Revolution and your solo host for season 3 of the Grow Your Business for Good podcast. And if you didn't hear in our previous episodes, Shannon is taking this season off and I am getting to interview some amazing experts that are in our community and really dive into the inner workings of their business and pull back that curtain a little bit and give you a little peek behind it. And so with me today is Rachel Lubchansky, and she has been with us in the Joyful CEO program for about 5 months now. And one thing that I love about my conversations with Rachel is she has the most soothing, calming voice. And so if you're watching this on YouTube and you just want to close your eyes and listen to her voice, sometimes that's what I do too. Rachel, so can you tell our audience a little bit more about you? What do you do in this world? Who do you serve?
Yes. First of all, thank you so much for having me. I'm really happy to be here. And I don't know that anybody else has introduced me that way about my voice. So I'm going to have to think on that one, but thank you. Thank you for that. Okay. I am a triplet mama. I'm living my best life over in Israel, and I'm a business momentum coach focused on serving coaches, consultants, experts, and service providers who are confused and overwhelmed about the business side of things, how to really monetize and market their expertise and create profitable businesses. So I support them with both the mechanics and the mindsets of success to help them really grow into a space of more confidence, empowerment, and profitability in their businesses.
Before we jump into today's episode, we want to invite you to join us in the Content Personality Club. In this club, we help coaches and consultants attract your perfect fit clients. Here's what we know. When you tweak and enhance your messaging, or maybe even overhaul it, your business is going to get a whole lot better.
If you are experiencing any of these specific problems in your business, we want to help you. Number 1, you publish content via email or social media, but it doesn't consistently convert to new clients, nor does it have the fire, flair, and feel you desire. Number 2, if you're spending lots of time launching and reworking your offer, but you don't have the number of clients you think you should based on all of your hard work. Or number 3, you have spent money on ads and or copywriters in the past, but none of it worked like they said it would.
Then we've got great news for you. Join us in the club where you'll learn how to leverage your content personality to create magnetic messaging. Because when your messaging is working, it does 90% of the heavy lifting for you. Visit www.contentpersonalityclub.com to join now. I love that because some of the words that you're saying are some of the words that we're going to be going through and talking about your personal business journey and in our time together today. And I think if I had to sum up when you and I first met early this summer, you were definitely unclear. What I didn't really realize in our conversation together, because we did not get into those nitty-gritty numbers, is the fact that you weren't profitable. And so you came to us as a CEO who has been really busting her tail, serving her clients, and doing real good in this world. But when we sat and really kind of reflect then on your business about how you were able to talk about it and sell, but then also your offers and not being profitable, this journey down the joyful CEO path for you, if you had to kind of just give us a four 40,000 foot descriptor of how you were feeling in July to how you're feeling today. What's that change?
Oh my gosh. Well, it's been huge. It's huge. First of all, in July, I remember our conversation. I had COVID, Amy. I don't know if you remember that.
Remember you
had
were sick.
COVID, and I showed up for the call because I just had this feeling about you and Shannon and your team that we were going to be a match for working together. I was at a point in my business where I had really lost sight of my own vision. I had disconnected from my why and what it was that I really wanted to be doing. I was not at all having fun in my business. I still loved my clients and poured into my clients, but the other parts of my business, it was just a complete drain. I was myself overwhelmed. And not, even though I hold the mirror and reflect these things for my clients and with my clients, I wasn't able to do that work on myself and with myself and for myself. And so I felt really stuck. I felt like I had a sense that my offers were not profitable. I mean, sheesh. I help my clients create profitable offers.
Right.
I help them raise their prices. This is like one of the first things that we do in my business coaching programs. And yet it's like, you know, the cobbler's daughter story. I had not been doing this work for myself. So that's where I was. And I also was overwhelmed with my offers. And like, even though I had streamlined and simplified the year before, it still all didn't feel as easy as it could feel and as fun and joyful as I knew it could be. And so I know we're going to dig into the work that we've done together over the last 4 or 5 months, but where I'm at today is like a total flip on its head, where I'm loving my business again. I feel more passionate than ever about my why, which is, it's twofold. The front-facing part of that is passionate about helping other women really activate a life that lights them up, that they feel like they're driven, that they're pursuing their purpose in the world, that they're really leveraging the talents that they innately have and the skills that they have cultivated over the years, right? And internally, that why has to do with my family and helping to provide for the best life for my children and the life that my husband and I have and the dreams that we have, both for now and for later. And so I just like, you know, it's like my shoulders are more relaxed. Everything is just flowing so much more seamlessly than it did before. And I'm finally to the point where I'm having fun again. I'm loving the work and I feel more committed to it than ever.
And so when we lose that fun, I think we have two choices. We either get help to find it again or we give up. And I do remember we were kind of having that conversation a little bit before, and you knew you didn't want to give up, but you knew you couldn't keep going this way. And so one thing I think where I want to start our conversation is you had a framework around your methodology, but I think the missing link was how to package it and sell it with a bow. And I'm going to go back to a word that I think you've said a few times is easy. It wasn't easy to share how they got from A to B before utilizing your framework and methodology. And so now that you've really kind of simplified that even more, I don't know, like we get it as simple as possible, because we know an overwhelmed person will never buy, right? And so just even trying to figure out how you can help me get from A to B, if that overwhelms me, it's never going to happen. And so highlight a little bit of what are you saying differently now than you were before, because I do think it's the messaging that's really around your methodology and framework that has gotten a lot clearer and easier to share.
Yeah. So before working with with you in this program and this team, I had like a laundry list of what my clients were experiencing before working with me. And what I was able to do in buttoning up my framework and packaging it with a bow, as you said, is really narrow in and drill into what is at the crux of what they're experiencing and what is it that they really, really, truly desire, right? And so that's when I got to this transformation statement of helping coaches, consultants, experts, and service providers go from being confused and overwhelmed, right? Because that's how they come to me. It's like they are experts. They know their craft. They are so good at what they do, but they just can't figure out the business side of things, right? Like how to price their services and what they should be doing in that foundational stage. And what does it mean to create a brand and then leverage that brand and then sell without feeling like you're selling your soul. And so to create that transformation statement and to know this is exactly what people want. What do they want? They want to feel confident. They want to be empowered and be running a profitable business.
Yeah.
So like I removed some of the language that I was using. Like some of the language was things like a CEO. My clients do not identify. They do not see themselves as a CEO, right? They're really looking to make more money from their expertise and do it on their own time and their own terms and without reporting to a boss and working under somebody else's umbrella. That's really what it's about for my clients.
And so then in this whole making more money for their expertise, like, again, we're going to pull that mirror up and kind of reflect on how we had to really dive in and make your business profitable. And so tell me a little bit about your group program. When we first looked at it, how much were you losing per client?
It's crazy. I can't even believe I'm going to share this, Amy, but I was losing $410 per client. That means whatever I was charging minus all the expenses, right? And this is what people forget. And of course, I didn't forget. I mean, I just don't even know how that all happened. But when I spent time doing this work with Shannon, I was like, holy cow, that's the number, -410. So I knew right there, it's like, okay, that means it's literally like thinking about taking $410 from my personal bank account and every single month or every single new client funneling that into my business. That's what that was akin to.
Wow.
And I knew right there and then that had to stop. I wasn't modeling for my clients what they need to be doing, which is pricing for value and for profitability. And it wasn't a sustainable method.
That is such a great visual of moving the money from your personal savings account into your business account, every single client, $410. So then how much did you end up raising the price?
So when we looked at the numbers, the price, and this is astounding, but it makes perfect sense now. The price that we increased to was 250% of a rate of an increase. And what I see now is that the value of this program is so much more aligned with this new pricing. And clearly clients see it too, because the program is doing so well and it is providing significant results and transformations for these clients.
And so, raising by 250%, you didn't stop getting clients. And I know that sometimes is what freaks people out is, oh, am I going to overprice myself for the market? But you really nailed it on the head, Rachel. It's the value that you're bringing and communicating that value so that people really do understand what they're going to get, that transformation. But you're not giving them that laundry list of the things that they're getting. It's that transformation that they're really paying for.
Absolutely. And then of course, with the signature framework, being able to like bullet point, here's the transformation. It's super clear where you start and where you're going to get through this program. And it's just 5 simple steps, right? And so it is. It feels so much easier to sell, truthfully.
Yeah. Are you able to recite those 5 simple steps to me real quick?
You build your foundations, build your business model, build your brand, build your visibility and community, and then build your system.
I like that. And again, like I'm pretty sure I put that on the spot because I didn't ask you about that earlier. And so being able to just speak from the heart about what you do and being really, really clear on what you do is just so important. And again, like I just want to like highlight one thing that you are doing for your clients is you are helping them raise their prices for profitability. And so when you went through this exercise, us leading you through it, tell us a little bit more about what was going through your mind.
I definitely went through some very similar feelings that my clients experiencing, right? There's fear, like, are people going to buy? Am I still going to attract the same quality of clients? Are people going to really understand the value? So those were my questions, but it was so black and white. I had to do it. It was like, move ahead with this pricing for profitability or close the doors on the business, right? You can't run a business in the red like that at this stage. And so, and let me just say one more thing. It's not that your business always makes money in its foundational stage and in the early days, right? But I'm not in my early days. I need to be priced for profitability at this point, and covering all my expenses. So that's really what I was experiencing and going through this, but I knew I had to do it. And so it was just a matter of making the decision and going with it. And as I've already explained, what I found was it was much more fun to sell. I actually feel more aligned with the value and what I'm offering my clients now. It's really kind of taken me by surprise as well.
Well, and one thing that you and I have worked on is that sales conversation and really being able to be more comfortable having that conversation. And one thing that I really love that you shared with me is you personally have more comfort and clarity on walking someone through that journey with you than you did before. And so what has really shifted then in your flow of this conversation? Like, did you used to get on the call with people and have an offer in your mind that you wanted to pitch them and just kind of go for it? And now you're actually having like conversations and making sure that they fit, the ideal client that you're looking to work with?
Yeah, I would say a little bit. I mean, I've always been interested in having real conversations and really hearing from people, but I wasn't giving those conversations enough time and space to really develop. And so a couple things happened. I went from offering basically discovery calls, like 20-minute discovery calls, to reframing this as a strategy call and giving it an hour's time, right? Yeah. So by doing that, I really opened up this space for both myself as well as the person I've been speaking with on these calls to get to know each other and to really hear what it is that they're experiencing, what's going on for them in their business, giving me time to be able to reflect, to ask clarifying questions, to really guide them, because sometimes what people think is the problem is not necessarily the root of the problem. One of the examples that comes up so often for me on these strategy calls is people think it's like, oh, my marketing isn't working, but really they're not working their marketing, right? Like they're not actually showing up consistently. They're putting something out once and thinking people are going to call. Like there are just so many of these types of examples that I could share. And so by giving this sales conversation an hour and having a broader framework to work with, it's broader right? Because I'm able to cover more, but it's also more specific. Like I definitely have I'm following, I've personalized it, but I'm following the soulful sales conversation framework that you shared with me. And I'm so grateful for that. And have personalized it so that it works for me and for my business. But so like having more space, but also being more specific and being able to guide the prospective client through a conversation to get to a point of really understanding what it is that their business needs and that they need. And then determining what is the best next step for them. And it may or may not be one of my programs. And it feels really authentic. It feels really good to say that, to know that when I get on a call with somebody, I don't have the answer. We're going to figure that out together.
I love that. When you
and
get
it's
on the
been really
call
freeing.
with somebody, you actually don't have the answer. You figure it out together, Rachel. Like, how fun is that?
Yeah, it really is. It really is. And it's so exciting when you can tell they're feeling empowered, like they're feeling like there's hope. They're feeling like they have found the solution, right? And energetically, like I call it a big hot love fest. You just know when that has happened. You just know when you've found your person. And likewise, when it doesn't feel like the right fit. And I think that that's equally as important, because we want people working with the coaches that are going to help them become more of who they already are. And so it has to be, there has to be this relationship and there's mutual feeling between a client and coach to be able to exercise that and really amplify it.
Yeah, I think that's so important. It's one of the questions that I ask is, no matter how well I do or don't know this person, is how do you feel about Shannon and I? Are there any concerns that you have? And, there have been some things that come up. People are like, well, do you swear all the time? And I'm like, well, when we got on a roll, sometimes we do, I'm not gonna lie. And, some people are like, Shannon's really upfront and brutal and honest. I'm like, yeah, that's probably not going to change. And so if those are not landing with you, it's okay. We're just not the right people, right? But I do think that really the big love fest and helping them you're more or less coaching them through decision making. And
Absolutely.
And you're not giving them the solutions of how to fix their business in this call, but you really are helping them uncover the solution of what help they need to get their business where they want it to go.
Right. And that's where the confusion is, right? Because if they knew what that was, they could do it. Because I always say I only work with smart women. So like they could figure it out on their own, right? But they're really stuck. And so to be in conversation around what that is and to like give them that expert lens through all the businesses that I've been able to support and see and guide. And, it's really eye-opening for them. And I think like comforting, like they feel like they finally have a plan.
Yeah. And so I love that we're describing kind of how they're feeling at the end of the time, but I do want to come back and reflect on you, Rachel. Like, how do you feel now that you've made these? And again, they were tiny tweaks, expanding so that you have the time and space to be thoughtful and have the conversation, asking questions to get down to those deeper rooted issues, and having this decision be a collaborative decision together, you and this person. How amazing does that feel for you?
Yeah, it feels much, I feel very much at ease on these conversations. I feel like I'm showing up to provide value. I show up and essentially act like this is a client I'm sitting across from, and I'm going to give them what they need in this hour together, right? And what they need, what they've come forward for, is clarity on their next steps. And I'm here for it, right? And so from my perspective, that feels really good to me. I'm a connector. I'm a person who likes to help people. And so whether we continue the conversation and the coaching relationship beyond that hour or not, I'm just completely available and open to supporting that person. And that fills me up.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I love that. Well, we're coming to the end of our time together today, Rachel. And so to kind of close everything out, if there was one thing that you wanted to celebrate with me today over this journey that you've had in the last 4 or 5 months, what's the one thing?
Wow. I think the one thing is opening myself up. First of all, when you were talking about Shannon being no BS and she's like really straightforward, I'm like, yes, that's exactly what I wanted and needed. And what I know about myself is that I have tremendous potential. My clients get amazing results. And I have so many gifts that I have been hiding. And so what I am celebrating most is showing up for the hard work, for facing my fears, for stepping into discomfort, and for saying yes to doing that with people like yourself and Shannon and Manette and the mastermind that I'm in, who have really created this space that feels so safe and supportive. And so I think that that's the biggest thing, because none of this is possible if I continue to stay in my little box and not share myself fully with my community. And so that's what I'm celebrating. It's a journey. I'm continuing to work on it. I'm a recovering perfectionist. Yeah. And I will say, like, the 12-month program, being in a 12-month container has been so essential, because I would not want to know that, like, the clock is ticking right now and that I'm on my last month or something like that, because this is a journey and I'm here, you know, I'm in it, I'm deep, and I'm constantly just making forward motions. And so that's where the celebration is, just continually showing up for myself and for my business and for those I have yet to serve.
I love that. You're really, again, like, you're in this deep transformative work. I think that's the right word. And if you didn't show up to do this work, Rachel, none of it would matter. Absolutely none of it would matter. So thank you so much for sharing and for joining me today. It's been a pleasure having you on the show. Thanks so much, Amy. It was great chatting. Yeah. And I'll be back with another expert in our next episode. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye. Thank you for listening to the Grow Your Business for Good podcast with your hosts, M. Shannon Hernandez and Amy Hager.
Head over to www.joyfulbusinessrevolution.com/quiz to take the content personality quiz and join our community. And remember our mantra, if it ain't joyful, we ain't doing that shit. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the show, leave a review, and spread the good news with other coaches and consultants.